I'm so old that when I started my poker career, training sites didn't even exist. But now there are training sites everywhere. My name's Rob Gardner. I'm a 20 plus year poker professional and instructor and teacher. And today I want to talk about poker training sites. What is good about training sites and can help you out, and what is bad about training sites and can hold you back. If you've ever had a frustrating experience where you've signed up, subscribed to a training site, had it for a couple months, didn't accomplish much and ended up canceling, you're definitely going to want to check this video out. By the end of this video, I will give you a better understanding of how to use training sites more effectively and a possible alternative for you in 2025 that can make your poker education a more fun and enjoyable experience. So let's start with the positives. There are some great things about poker training sites. First and foremost, there is a wide variety of options in 2025. Like when I was younger, the first training site that came out was Card Runners. I believe it was like $200 a month. Me and my friends could not begin to pony up the money to get a subscription to the site and watch all of the videos they had to offer. But now there are over 15 to 20 different training sites available at a variety of different price points, from monthly subscriptions to lifetime fees. You have all of the options in the world, which is great because you can find which program or training site fits you best. Training sites also have a variety of options in content. We're in a content era right now, and many of these training sites have more training videos and more hours of video than you could possibly watch, which means you have a wide variety of topics and options that you can choose from whenever you get that subscription, allowing you to decide where you want to dig in. And that brings me to another advantage, which is the ability to drill down on a particular topic. And this is where I think you get the most success if you are a member of a training site. It's not just to binge watch every episode and every video that comes out on a particular training site. What you should be doing is reviewing your own play and looking for areas you're struggling. Say you figure out that you're really struggling with check raising out of the big blind. Then you go to your training site of choice and you look for videos that focus on check raising, and you drill down on that and you get a lot better at that. Because there's so many options to choose from, you should very easily and consistently be able to find particular areas you want to work on your game, watch a video. Most times you need to watch it multiple times to really let all of that sink in, take some notes, apply it to your game, experiment, get a feel for it, run through hands with other people. It's a process to go through to add something to your game or to improve your game. But if you do that consistently, if you continue to level up a different part of your game month over month, you will get better at the game. Lastly, the great thing about training sites is they're on demand. It's on demand content 24/7 on your way to work, on your way home from work, at night, on the weekends, wherever you are, waiting for a plane. You can pull it up on your phone, your laptop, whatever device you have available to you, and you can watch videos at any time. But there are also some really big problems with how training sites operate that make it very difficult for the average person to get value out of them. First and foremost, the average video on training sites is way too long. Most training sites run videos from anywhere from 45 minutes to I've seen as long as 3 hours for a training video. And the problem with that is, one, who has the time to sit down and watch all of that in one chunk? And even if you did, let's just say you had 2 hours set aside and you could watch a 2-hour training video. If you just watch that video from start to finish, you're really going to limit your ability to get as much out of that training video as possible. When you can pause a video, take some notes, give yourself a few minutes to reflect on what you're learning, you learn much more cohesively and much more effectively. And that's going to turn a 2-hour video into like a 4 or 5-hour study session. And again, who realistically has time for that? Not only that, but our brains can only take on so much new stuff at one time. Ideally, you should be coming away from every video with 1 to maybe 3 things that you're going to try and adjust and attempt and get a feel for. And in a 2-hour video, there's just going to be more information than 1 or 2 or 3 things. You're going to come back with 5, 10, 20, 30 bullet points, and who can internalize all of that at once? So long videos really are not a very good way to consume training content. And if you are a member of a training site and you really want to use that as your means of poker education, by all means do it, but have the wherewithal to break those videos down into smaller segments, break them down into 20 to 30-minute chunks tops, and give yourself a day with each one of those chunks rather than just trying to rush through it and cram it all into one study session. Another issue with training sites is they're very overwhelming and have no real sense of progression. You log into a site, there's a bunch of categories. Many of these sites have 2, 3, 4, 500, even 1,000 videos to choose from. Where do you start? How do you dig in? Where do you figure out which videos you are very comfortable with and which ones you aren't? If you've been playing for 5 years, what's the starting point? A lot of these sites don't really help you figure out where to dig in, what videos to prioritize. They don't have any type of progression where they're saying, watch this first and then watch this second. And so it's very, very overwhelming because now you're forced to not just take on a poker education, but also to decide and assess where you need to go. This is why earlier I was saying it's much better to kind of self-assess yourself, pick a couple topics and drill down on it. But for those who are wanting a more comprehensive study approach, a lot of these sites don't really give you that path to take that gets you from point A to point B. A third issue I see with a lot of training sites is they're not relevant to the stakes you play. If you're sitting there online playing $5 and $10 tournaments and you're trying to learn how to beat these players who have a 40% VPIP and they call down with any pair, and you're watching a video from two players who play at Triton events talking about GTO and theory and randomizing and frequencies, my God, how does that help you, right? It's not practical to where you're at. And sure, theoretical knowledge is a good foundation to have in poker, but you can find yourself signing up for a site and just getting hit with video after video after video, not relevant to the stakes you play. This is a mistake I also see with poker players who hire coaches. I won't coach everybody that comes to me and asks for coaching, because at the end of the day, the best coach for you is someone who has come from somewhere similar to where you are and has gotten somewhere similar to where you want to go. And while we all want to say, oh man, I would love to get to the high rollers and play the highest stakes, there's a few rungs on that ladder before you get there. You don't just get to jump to the top. So if you're a micro stakes player and you're trying to learn to get to the mid stakes, you really don't want to get coaching from a high stakes crusher, because they're not really in tune with the meta of what microstakes are like right now, or the specific changes you make to get from microstakes to mid-stakes right now. That doesn't mean the information isn't useless or you can't get something out of it. Just understand it's not going to be optimized or really catered to the situational experience you need and the practical examples you need to be the best you can at the level you're at. Lastly, the biggest problem with training sites is there's no way they can guarantee you can be a winner. The whole business model of a training site is kind of warped because it's an industry where we know 90 to 95% of people are not going to make it above that threshold of being profitable, consistent players. But setting the goal as trying to make money in poker sets a bar that just most people are not going to be able to achieve, because the real issues with being profitable is usually one of the other intangibles. Bankroll management, or controlling your emotions and tilt, or being able to handle math and good numbers well, so on and so forth. So these sites have this mystical goal to get you to this benchmark or bar where you're profitable, but in reality, it's not realistic for a lot of people. So at the end of the day, training sites are good and they're bad, but I may have an alternative for you next year. In January, I'm going to be launching a course that's going to have a very different approach to teaching about poker. The goal of this course is going to be two things. One, to simplify the game. This game can get insanely complex. And one of the difficult things about playing a complex strategy of poker is when you actually get in the moment in the game, you have all these variables floating around that you're trying to measure. You're aware that they matter, but you don't know how much they matter. And you're comparing them to one another. You're trying to figure out which one is more important and which one's less important. And it makes the decision-making process very stressful and very overwhelming. And ultimately that makes the game less fun. So this course is going to be focused on simplifying the game so that all of your decisions are very straightforward, very easy to come to a conclusion, and it grows your confidence. The second goal of this course is going to be to make the game more fun. Now, some of you already have a blast playing this game and that's not an issue, but some of you, I guarantee you, if you were really being honest, you can say that this game started out as a lot of fun, but as the competition and the amount of money being played for started to become more and more of a factor, kind of leech the fun out of you. How are we going to make the game more fun? We are going to teach you fun moves that you can use against bad players and fun moves that you can use against good players. And we're going to come up with really fun ways to teach you these moves that are, again, very easy to understand, very easy to memorize. They're going to have some fun names associated to them so that when you get in spots, you're going to go, oh, this is that move. I'm going to try this. And it's going to give you some enjoyment knowing you have a weapon in your arsenal, right, that can make you competitive, that can give you a chance, a fighting chance, even if you're up against good players, and build your confidence in playing the game. So in essence, we're going to try and take what's good about training sites and fix the problems that are bad about training sites and come up with a cool, unique way to learn this game. If that resonates with you at all and you think it's going to be something you're interested in, make sure you hit the subscribe button below so you can get notifications when new videos come out. We have videos that come out 3 days a week, and we will have an announcement video later this year about the official launch date for that course, where you can get it and participate in it. So what have your experience been with training sites? We'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Tell me about some good experiences you've had with training sites, some bad experiences you've had with training sites, and maybe some suggestions you have that would make the learning process more fun and more enjoyable so that we can make sure we accommodate your needs. See you guys next video.